Live from Pahrump, Nevada, the Valley of the Dirt People, it's Tech Talk, Taco Tuesday, with your hosts, Jimmy Lewis and Logan Tyler.
You have no idea what just went on before this show started.
Well, they might.
No, we kept it off the record. So welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, episode number 100 and Matt?
130.
130
Sorry, making sure our audio
of
is good.
these shows. This is the show where we talk about motorcycle and motorcycle-related products, specifically dirt bike stuff for those that are interested. We have some special guests. Well, one special guest and one guy that just showed up and took over, right, George?
Well, I'm special in my teachers always told me that I was special.
Right.
But so I'm special in that way, and Johnny's special, and he's a big deal.
So
he's a real thing.
Johnny Campbell is joining the show tonight. So if you have any Johnny Campbell questions, you can probably answer questions about what are you an expert at? Not Husabergs. No. Baja 1000 questions? Baja questions? Got those?
The real red bike.
The real red bikes?
The real red bikes.
The real red bikes. That'd be Hondas. If you have some Honda questions, Johnny can answer those. I'll just field all the rest of the questions. Actually, George will answer your life and
I'm Jimmy's life coach. If you don't know me, life coach and what was it? Spiritual
advisor. That's
spiritual advisor. He calls me the spirit monkey, but
that's what you sold me on when you negotiated that big contract. But
right,
luckily,
I don't pay. Talk about the Rams.
I don't pay attention when we negotiate these contracts, and then I just get into them. And now, I was having a rough day. Things were a little unstable, so George invited himself on the show to keep me in line.
Right.
So this is what we do. You may wonder where Logan is. He's probably dead. So that's just what happens when you get a cough or something these days. You just start dying, and then since he's dying, he probably gave it to his dad, right?
Yeah. No Logan or Jimmy Tyler in the peanut gallery. Where's Bob though?
Peanut gallery Bob.
That.
Yeah, he's probably dead too. People just die these days. So we're gonna try to keep that stuff to a minimum. ZL says, first time live, stuck in the hospital with the tibio plateau. That's probably
tibiopillion
fracture. So I'll be living vicariously through everyone else riding for now. Well, hey man, sorry to hear about that.
Was that a riding injury?
And we did ride today.
Oh, yeah, we've been doing some riding. That's usually why why else did you come out to Valley of the Dirt People?
The only thing to do out here is ride.
Ride, drive race cars, shoot guns, go
Visit
to
brothels,
buy ammo.
You said that, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been there once.
Yeah, once.
Yeah, for lunch.
Yeah, the food was hyped up for so long. Like ever since I was 14, I've been hearing about this food. Kind of didn't really live up to it in my opinion, but
who'd you go on a date with there?
George.
He's
into young guys. Yeah.
My spiritual advisor. Thanks, man.
Hey, this place is great. I own a couple tumbleweeds here.
Do you?
Yeah, you want to buy it?
Yeah, want to buy it?
No.
So, okay. We're going to try to get to the dirt bike stuff here. So, actually, here's the lead question. Less Death. Do you change his name? It looks different. It's not, it doesn't, it's just, there's no A in death. I think he was on, he might have been Facebook, I'm not really sure. He says, what are your thoughts on the new Tenor 700 World Raid Edition? Any insider info on release date in the U.S.? So, no, I've known about this for a little while. I saw a picture of it a long time ago, a prototype of it, and they announced it over in Europe today, and I was going to ask for a comment from Yamaha in the United States, and I knew that would be pointless because they probably don't know, because a lot of times with this stuff, they kind of know, but maybe the person I ask doesn't know and they have to go figure it out. So I don't know. I would say that whenever you see someone in Europe get their hands on it, 1 year later, someone in the United States might get their hands on it. But what this is, for those that don't know, is they kind of built we'll call it a factory edition Tenor. They added some fuel tank capacity. They said they put what they called premium suspension components on it. which I heard are just much more modern shock and forks, because it had like 1990s YZ-ish. It was all, the right shape to fit on a Tenor, but the internals and stuff were all older Campbell stuff that really wasn't that bad. It's got a couple of other things. I guess it has the computer now will actually, when your phone rings, I don't know about this stuff, like your phone rings and it will ring through your thing. Do you know about this? Because Africa Twin has this, yeah?
Actually, I don't know.
You don't know about this?
They've kept me away from the Africa Twin for the last couple of years, so I don't know.
It's now that, it's funny because here's where adventure bikes are going. Some people just want it to be like a touring bike. They want all that electronic features like their car. They want it to have Apple Play or Google Drive or whatever, those things that I still don't. Your Raptor has it in it, right?
Yeah, it has CarPlay and all that stuff, but that's a car. For me, when I want to get on a bike, I want to get rid of all that stuff. I think the technology ruins it. I want the experience of freedom and riding my dirt bike and only concentrating on that. I
can't agree with you more. But there's other people.
No heated grips or anything.
Oh, I want heated grips. That doesn't. that does not interfere.
Cross the line, George.
Yeah, that doesn't interfere with
heated seat. I'll take on that bike too.
Massaging?
A heated seat. Yeah, the heated grips, they don't interfere with my ride. They make more anything to make me more comfortable, but not distract me. Does that sound like a good thing?
Lets you ride the bike more.
Yeah, if you can enhance the enjoyment on your ride, I think that's all good. Having phone and technology and being able to have that connectivity to the world on your bike, I don't think so. I go for, let's just go riding.
But there's a whole nother generation of people coming up that want that.
Yeah, but okay, so here's the thing. If I'm bored to death and I'm riding my adventure bike down a highway, which is what happens when I ride down a highway and I'm bored to death, I don't mind holding a conversation with somebody while I'm just riding down a highway, but I don't really ride my adventure bike down the highway that much. And when I do, I'm usually going at a speed, and don't take this wrong, former cop. I'm going at a speed that could cause problems for me if I don't pay really close attention to everything around me. You know what I mean? And if I were talking to somebody on a phone, I'd probably get a ticket, and it wouldn't be good. Yeah. So no. They actually added that to that bike. That would be the last bike that I would add that stuff to. It would be an adventure bike, but unless your adventure bike is being used for like real adventures, which involve riding down the highway, and maybe you have to take a call from someone in between. Some people.
Some of that stuff's nice for navigation and whatever. If you're looking for a hotel or something, and you want to, you're cruising around, and you want to know what hotels are in the area. Or
George,
whatever, that's all good.
George uses this stuff, by the way.
Yeah, if it's available, I'll use it.
He's called me from his bike, his venture bike before and stuff like that.
Yeah, when Jeremy and I were on that trip, we diagnosed a problem.
Yeah, I know. That's how I got my best bottle of tequila ever. Yeah, thank God you had that technology that time. So, anyways, I don't like it, but I don't even use it. I have a KTM 390 that has that. It'll connect to all that stuff, and I used it just to test it to see if it worked, and I could adjust the volume of my music through the buttons on the handlebars if I wanted to, but I don't want to listen to music that much.
Just disconnect yourself from the world. Ride your dirt bike. Enjoy that. Have fun. You're too much overstimulation through the world.
Right.
I think the focus needs to be on real adventure and have your body and mind where it needs to be.
Yeah, I agree. But what if you're always getting lost? And you need that. Well, they make GPS units for that, right?
I would take a Jimmy Lewis navigational school.
No, that doesn't help with this. This tells you how to ride specifically how to ride a map book. It doesn't tell you how not to get lost. That's.
I beg to differ.
Okay.
Because that class teaches you how to be more aware of your surroundings. It gives you direction and a compass, and that way you can have an overall picture of where you're at.
So when when you kind of felt like you got lost because there's a feeling that's involved, and then something happened, and you know that you got lost 10 miles ago. That's a good thing to know, because it's as opposed to just constantly being in a state of lost.
Yes.
You know that it's 10 miles, then you could at least calculate how much fuel range maybe you have to get back or something.
Yeah, that's good.
These things.
I agree.
Okay, Les Death did not change his name. That's the way it's always been. So that's good to know.
Do we have any sponsors?
Oh, I should get back into that
Yeah.
mode where I'm supposed to be in charge of these things. Hey, Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Thursday.
It's not like you came up with a name and started the show or anything.
Yeah, well, man, I'm fried. I told what have I been saying all day long?
Oh yeah, you're fried.
I'm like tired. I've been going wide open since Thursday. That's why I thought Thursday. Well, actually, it was Wednesday.
Right.
But Thursday.
So, did you had a navigation class Friday?
I had to babysit. I had some babysitting.
Navigation class Friday.
And then I had a navigation
school,
class
Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
And then Monday you woke up.
I had to babysit again. Monday and
How
Tuesday.
do you figure that? You went riding with Ricky
Braybeck.
and Johnny, and
I went riding with Ricky Braybeck.
then you guys bailed,
babysitting.
turned around, came back. Ricky lost his watch, and then you got up today and went for a ride. So yeah, at your age,
Yeah,
that's a pretty good accomplishment.
I need some. I slept.
So he's older than you, right?
He is. He'll always be older than me.
I slept 11 hours last night, and I was still tired.
That's why.
we got after we got back from eating tortas, which really caused some emotional issues for someone up in Washington State. You know, Paul. Yeah.
Yeah.
When
he
I
was driving.
well, no, he was home already. But I told him I said, hey, I ate a torta, and he literally said we may not be able to be friends anymore. Because he wanted to have a torta while he was down here. So anyways, okay, I'd like to thank Yamaha, Taco Moto, the Adelanto Grand Prix, Johnny Campbell. Have you ever been king of Adelanto?
I have. I've won the pro race twice. 1998 on an XR 628. And then in the year 2000 when the 650R came out, I put it to the boys.
So you won the pro race, but were you able to be like the king? Because that the king was you had to win a lot of races.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But you always suffered with that because you didn't have two strokes.
Right, but I would say king. I'm not sure. I think I remember the year 2000. I won 4 of the races.
Okay, that'd be enough.
So I think I pretty much.
Because you were old enough to be vet then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was the thing is you'd ride 125 in the old days. You ride 125, 250, and 500, and then there was some of the guys that were able to ride vet as well, and then there was an unclassified and some other stuff. But yeah, Adelanto Grand Prix coming to you on. Do we remember the dates, Matt?
May.
May.
Oh boy.
May. We should put that on the little spec sheet here so I can remember.
Yeah, no, that's a very good idea because I forgot it myself. I think
It's
May
coming up. You
18th?
should May 18th. No, I don't think that's it.
22nd?
I want to say it's later, but I'm wrong.
Yeah, that used to be actually one of my favorite events. A lot of people hated it because it was so
hated
fast, so high speed. Like Jimmy hated it.
No,
but actually, like
I hated it, but I sure liked winning.
Like
I won some 125 races there.
Yeah, like when I first started recognizing like Jimmy Lewis or he recognized me, like I think we had some battles there actually in the early 90s or something like that, late 80s. But it was for me. I grew up with riding Grand Prix, so that was like a big deal to
yeah, it was the biggest Grand Prix of the year, and I remember I didn't even know what it was. We just went one time and I did really good on the 125 class. I mean, I don't think I won the first year I went there, but yeah, it was like I wasn't really a desert racer, and I was more of a motocross kid. I'd rode some enduros, and I did really good the 125 race, and people are coming over, because I was battling with like Larry, and it was they're like, come over. I think I was beating him for a long time, but he knew his way around the course.
Yeah,
for sure.
to say the least.
I was just going straight down the road and make the 90-degree turn and go straight down the next road.
Yeah.
And I'd make the turn. He'd go by me at like 40 miles an hour faster than whatever I was going. I'm like, well, how did that happen? He knew how to sweep the turns, use the desert. But no, I hated it and loved it because it was sketchy but super fun. But now they're in a tighter area. But anyways, Ty Davis is putting this race on. We had him on the show last week. He's super excited. He's doing some new interesting things, trying to get the, kind of have the pros race 3 different times so people can come out and watch them. He's got a thing for younger riders with the Futures race. These are kids on the Super Minis and stuff, and a lot of fun stuff to do if you are have a little tiny kid. They have some kids races. So check out the Adelanto Grand Prix, and you went to AdelantoGrandPrix.com.
Yeah, AdelantoGP.com is where I went to. Also, I think was it Best in the Desert website?
And Best in the Desert website has a lot of information about this.
Yeah, AdelantoGP.com. March 18th through the 20th.
March 18th through the 20th. So next time we'll put that here. Scott Sports, they make awesome goggles. Climb. Today, I was really happy with my Climb Dakar pants because I had pockets and I could carry my phone and Ricky Brabeck's credit card.
That's a nice thing to have.
Yeah, I almost forgot to give it back. DDC, makers of awesome drive components, Delaney drive components. That's ddcracing.net. And of course, Trail Tech. Johnny used Trail Tech GPSs this weekend.
I did, and it's really nice because it not only shows the route on like a track log, but also has buddy tracking. And when your other riders have Trail Tech, then you're able to see where they're at. And
So how did that work? Could you?
You could always see where
all
Jim
the
was
time
almost
and
getting
everything?
lost.
yeah, I could see Jim bringing up the rear, so it was good.
But you could. You can see him on there. as a
Yeah,
bottom
absolutely.
track.
It's a nice feature when you're riding in a group, and that way, if you got to get spread out because maybe it's dusty or whatever, and not everybody in your group may stop at a corner and wait for the next guy behind you, even though we tell them to do that in the beginning. They don't always do
And
it.
we set them up so that it leaves what we call a buddy tail. And so we set it up, the units that we use for the tours, so Johnny is leaving a buddy tail.
trail.
And so basically he's dropping a track log on an active track log on everybody else's GPS so they can see where he went. And then you can also see where the other riders in the group are. And
So he's got an electronic excuse to just smoke everybody and never see him again, right?
but he doesn't do that. He's a good tour guide. He's not. That's why I don't do tour guiding, because I either go too fast or too slow. I can never do it right. So, okay.
Kyle said something up there. What was he talking
Oh, he
about?
said something
Go
about
back
you.
up
He
about
said you can't get a good
poorhouse.
He said you can't get a good torta. But
Porters
he says
are
the
overrated.
poorhouse and
Poorhouse
Trump.
is a gold standard. Oh, karaoke. Yeah, he enjoyed that.
But he did not get a torta. We can't say where because it's a secret.
Well, I wanted to say to Kyle, I rode his Raleigh bike over the weekend.
You did.
Yeah, and I was just surprised that the rev limiter was that high in the RPMs, and you just had to hold it on and scream it over the top to hit the rev limiter. That surprised me.
Well, when I was showing you how to do it when we were going down the road, like when I was doing it in first gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, I went to second gear, and I was going like 60, but I was surprised I could take it up that high. It was just crazy.
well, when we were doing it, you were in like third gear pinned on your 500. I was in first gear on his bike, just holding it and just showing like, George, this is what it sounds like on the rev limiter, right?
And it takes a good 2 minutes at that rev limiter before smoke really starts to come out the tailpipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I was going to get at about the rev limiter is the reason it's so high on those bikes. That's a competition bike. That's the
They
way it is.
watch it.
Your bike, your rev limiter is at like the 9,000, 10,000 RPM range. That thing's probably 14. So
Didn't sound like 14,000.
Leave your bike laying around here. We'll see what happens. Who
Well,
else
you
is
gotta
biking?
test it.
Who else is biking my garage? Dave? Hey, wait! You just rolled 2 bikes into my garage too, didn't
Yeah,
you?
I don't care about those.
I know. Let's see. He says you can ride it anytime you want. That's what Kyle just
When
said.
it had Indian buffet, okay, T.W. Hicks. Poorhouse was so much better when it had Indian buffet. No buffet, but Indian food.
They
galore.
still have it. So, what is this thing called? What, this show?
Shit show.
Hey, wait. We got a question for Johnny Campbell. Will Honda ride the World GP Rally Series this year?
I know this is that Honda is leading the Manufacturers Cup in the World Rally GP Series, which is because we got 4 Hondas in the top 7 at Dakar, and Dakar is now part of the World Cross Country Rally Series is the actual name, and so Honda is planning to continue with this. They're going to the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge. The beginning of March, and so right now I would say yes, but officially I don't have an official answer for you. But
So the way that Dakar worked, each day was an individual day. So if Dakar was 12 days, then maybe with all the other rallies there's a total of 20 days. It would be like each day is its own scoring event for that.
yes,
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I kind of wondered how that was working too, because and that's the reason they also started allowing riders after they DNF, they could come back in if they intended to compete in the World Rally.
that's correct. And you know, I have a couple mixed feelings on that. In my opinion,
I do too.
Is that it? To me, it kind of dilutes Dakar and what it is altogether, because Dakar to me is such a standalone event that it's the pinnacle of rally cross-country racing. And when they allow somebody that DNFs one day to re-enter Dakar and continue, and it kind of it messes with the race, it messes with the results. And my opinion is I don't like this for Dakar. I think Dakar should be on its own, stand alone. It keeps the value in the
Hey, remember that time when you did Dakar?
yeah,
The first time?
I remember.
Imagine if your bike. Remember when you had to relace your wheel
Yeah.
out on the stage
Yeah.
on one day?
Yep.
Okay. Imagine if you hadn't done that and you sort of DNF'd. By the time your truck you had a pretty good truck. Your truck probably would have got there and got you a wheel. But imagine you just said, "Oh crap, I'm DNFing." By the time that you got yourself put in a truck and brought to the thing, the rally would be a day ahead of you. It would be gone. Like you can't catch back up. So it was definitely different times for that. But I totally agree. I mean, I think that there's something about in this. You may be out for the overall, but if you're really thinking about the way that race should be played out, there should be some sort of a durability or you have to stay. You can't screw something up and keep part of the race.
To me, it's a dependability, reliability, endurance race. And when you allow people to restart or re-enter, to me, it takes away from the actual value of the race, especially the teams and riders that don't have problems and they have a bike that goes the 5,000 miles in that thing, and but it's like, for instance, not to take anything away from that Red Bull kid in the side by side. He was able to re-enter and he won a bunch of the stages, and good on him. He's an excellent driver and stuff, and he had a problem. But now he's won like the most stage wins consecutively in a single Dakar. But really, he DNF'd the first day. I think it was Seth. But and the kid's great and stuff. But this is the rules. They allow you to re-enter. Yeah. And, good for him to get the experience and continue, and the team learn stuff and the machine and everything. And you've spent all that money to get there. So I understand that side of it. But really, it's like, man, this is the Dakar. It's like, if you mess up and You
You should go to smaller rallies to learn how to mess up.
To me, you suck it up. I mean,
Yeah.
this is
So-
the most prestigious rally in
Even
the
if
world.
you're allowed to re-enter, do your points count towards it? I mean, you're still not
Your
gonna
your daily results
Your
count.
daily result in the world, not in Dakar results.
So like motos in a motocross season, every moto counts.
Yeah.
Right.
So every day
Yeah.
counts.
So I
Same
guess
way.
I didn't
Exactly.
realize that. I just thought they were allowed to continue. You know, you're there, you got all your equipment there,
Yeah. Yeah.
riding this thing and see how you do.
But the other part of that equation is that it interferes with the guys that are actually, or the teams that are actually in it for the Dakar result. It's like that guy can get out there, he's making dust for people, he's
yeah,
winning the stage, and it's like this is affecting the outcome of the
I
race.
see that.
I think that like what Johnny's talking about is that's the biggest problem of it. And Kyle McCoy made a good point, and he said, hey, maybe for rookies, you can let the rookies back in so they can gain the experience, but maybe you need to start them in the back all the time or something.
I totally agree with that.
That would
Something.
make
Don't
sense.
let them get back and mingle with the guys that are strategizing and don't even get me started on the strategy in the map book. You know what? We were talking to Ricky. We were like, hey, we're thinking about like how do we train for this? And we're like, at a loss. I need to talk to somebody from the organization to ask them about. I need some clarification on what they're really trying to do. I like to learn what they're trying to do, what they see as the future, because right now, I think the best thing to do, and I think I want to say Quintanilla did it, was when everybody got super screwed up, and he realized everybody was super screwed up. He rode up on top of the hill and sat there and watched.
it was the most wisdom, the most wise thing to do.
To do at that time,
and that's what propelled him in the rally.
Was that the first stage?
So is
Yeah.
if this is the technique that we all learn, like, so what happens when we get to tricky notes? Everybody just rides up top of a hill and watches, like, oh, you go look. No, you go look. No, you go look. And then they wait for the sucker. They send this. So instead of a water boy now, your team needs to have a sucker. You just pay this guy to go out and do sucker navigation. So, sorry, I just gave away super top secret techniques, but we're going to get off the Dakar subject. Hey, there's this company called Rottweiler Performance says, hey, Jimmy, just checking in to see if there are any new tequilas on the table here. And for this question, yes, there's no new ones. There's 2 old ones, and I'm going to bring these up here. No, you're going to have to wait. Say hello to Johnny for me, even though he can't remember my name. And that's good because I can't. It's Rottweiler. You remember Johnny?
Who, Chris Parker?
You remembered his name quicker than I did.
Yeah. How come I not remember his name?
You just did.
Yeah.
That's
CPR man.
Yeah. Yeah. You remember it when it was CPR.
Yeah, back in the day, he was
Dude,
making
his bike.
parts for.
I promise you,
for
his
DXs.
his bikes were so much better than yours. Just ask him. Hey, I rode his bike, and other than the banging loud exhaust and the power that was kind of tuned for peak power more than rideability, it was a pretty Sano package. I mean, especially for somebody who I didn't know, and he thought I was just some homeless dude riding by on my bicycle, which I could see how I could make that mistake. But anyways, good to see you, Chris. We'll have some tequila advice just before the break.
I thought you were going to share some just now.
With you?
Yeah. Careful, I'm going to break out the voice mag.
Well, you just got to know how to do it properly. I taught you before. You stole my voice-o-matron. I imagine if the voice-o-matron asked for tequila, it possibly could happen.
No, I'm not going to do that.
You're just waiting for. Chris Real says, I agree to let the DNF guy continues, but every day starting at the back so they don't mess up the contenders.
Yep.
I think that's
Makes sense.
I think he thinks alike, like
Yep.
I do. Yeah, smart
agree.
minds. In cycling, they're called domestiques. Yes, John, that's what we call a water boy as well. Chuck Dollison. Chuck was the mechanic at the very first Kawasaki shop that gave me 10% discount. Kawasaki Central in Oxnard, California. He says, maybe I already asked this, Jimmy, but when did you go from MX to off-road? 80, I want to say 86. 87, 86, somewhere around there. I started riding. I rode my first enduro, the leaping. No. I have to go back. 84 XR200R, twin carbs. Technology way before its time. When one carb isn't bad enough, let's put two on. So it was 84. So it was probably in 85 I rode my first enduro. And then I think 86 I rode the Leaping Lizard enduro in Ballinger Canyon. So yeah, Chuck's been a lifelong rider. He's still out riding. I think he has a Husky or KTM. I see him posting up on Facebook every time. But he was the mechanic down there. There was such a solid crew. And it's funny because all those guys, I still see them pop up on the Facebooks and stuff all the time. But they gave us a 10% off on parts.
All right.
So
Hey, that's how it starts.
started there. I think I got up all the way up to. I had sort of like a semi-team greenish ride on 80s, and I was getting like I got a little tiny parts allowance or something. I had to buy the bikes or whatnot, or my dad had to buy the bikes. Yeah, you know how it goes. It's just yeah.
You had to chop firewood.
I had to rake leaves. Back then it was raking leaves and hoeing weeds and turning the water on and off. Yeah. It'd be like smashing aluminum cans these days. Actually, I need to find a kid that can sort and smash aluminum cans here in Pahrump. So if you know anybody, didn't Hicks local? Maybe Todd can come over
I think so,
and smash some aluminum cans for me while he's telling me which torta is best. So, okay. Do we have any other?
Looks like Dave Black's throwing his bike into the hoop for testing.
Oh, let's see where the rev limiter's on that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said feel free to use it. He asks that you rip the muffler screen off though.
Oh,
He said he couldn't get it above 80. I don't believe that.
well, let's go find out. What are we doing tomorrow?
There was some other questions from earlier.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna run. You figure those questions, pull them up there, and highlight them. And there's something else. There's some other super awesome news that we have to announce here at Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Not only do we have another podcast coming out, because I figured, like, since everybody has a podcast, including me, I'm gonna do another one. So we have the Better Rider podcast that's gonna come out when, Matt?
probably tomorrow or Thursday, depending on when Spotify and Google Podcasts approves us.
Cooperate.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Better Rider podcast. So if you want to learn about like riding techniques, how to turn the throttle farther is what I always like to say. The Better Rider podcast is your answer, and it's going to lead into something even better. But if you know someone that's a complete beginner rider, Matt has finally done it.
Yep.
He's got the Beginner Rider series. Our what are we calling it?
It's the online beginner series.
Online Beginner series is now up on www.jimmylewisoffroad.com.
So is that free? You just go to jimmylewis.com?
Dude,
Well, how does this work?
Okay. It's like you should actually, you know what you should do? You should go find the free beginner classes on YouTube. And then after your wife, girlfriend, child injures or maims themselves and you've spent a couple $1,000s on medical bills, come back and spend the $39 on our beginner riding school, and we'll give you a 10% discount if you use the code TechTalk22. So TechTalk22. So
Okay,
if
so it's $40
minus,
and you go to Jimmy Lewis, and this is live now? I'm finding this out. It's
It's-
up?
Yep.
yeah, we don't tell you everything.
But
Life coach.
one could gift this to somebody
Yes.
that they wanted to, like some kid. You could say, hey, here,
Yeah,
Right.
and
so-
go to this, and they can watch. How does it work? You watch online videos?
So you watch some videos. So there's videos.
You'd think I'd know more about this. I'm not just playing dumb. I am.
I know you're
on
dumb,
this,
but
yeah.
you can play that way too.
But I just want it, put out there.
Give me the damn Voicetron microphone right now. Give it to me.
No.
No, but to George's point, so you don't have just to buy you don't have to just buy this for yourself. If you want to say you want to teach your kid or your girlfriend, you can buy this, have them watch
Yeah, I
it,
mean,
or
what
you
a
can watch it
beautiful
with
gift.
them.
You see some kid
Yeah.
coming up throw $40 his way. Here.
Yeah.
You get
And,
these.
and it's truly designed for beginners. I mean, we explain how the throttle turns. We explain that the clutch is to, connect the power to the drive train. Things that maybe, and I call the shift lever a shift lever, even though it's a pedal, right, Johnny? The
That's
shift
correct.
pedal,
You push down on it a lot and it goes
Gear
forward.
selector.
the gear selector. There's a lot of different words, but guess what? I'm getting them before they know the right way to say it, so I'm going to teach them my way.
I'm going to subscribe just so I can be critical of what you put up.
Oh, great! Here we go. So anyhow, that's the big
love it.
announcement.
I'm going to buy Johnny Campbell a subscription here.
I already
Sponsored.
I made him
Sponsored by
watch.
George.
I made him watch a video. He thought it was okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was good.
It's good.
good.
Very, very informative.
So the way we're doing it is there's like lessons where you watch and we talk about it, or I talk about it, and then there's drills where you go out and there's things for you to go and try, and pretty soon there's actually going to be availability to get online coaching. It's a different kind of subscription level, but you can actually send videos of yourself doing the drills, and then our professional team of qualified coaches, which you're one of those.
Oh, I am.
Right.
I haven't been asked. To
You haven't been briefed on
produce
this yet.
anything.
Well, right now it's Matt and myself and a few other people that will watch your video,
Oh, so look here.
tell you what you're doing right or wrong, and then you can get personalized coaching.
So I've been texted here by a
Right.
friend that he called me. I had to turn him off. Look what's on his computer screen now. He just texted me a photo.
I'm
is
sorry.
that?
Why would he be doing that?
So yeah, there we are. My buddy is out there in Montana watching us live here on.
Hey, look what Tony just
Tech
threw
Talk
up in the
Taco
chat.
Tuesday.
Somebody's onto it.
Oh, yeah.
The word is out.
I was gonna ask you off air if that was the place you went
That's
to.
the place. Yeah.
They actually let you in this time.
Yes, you're right.
How did he know?
Huh? Well, because that's the place for the tortoise. That is the
Okay.
place. Yeah, we're just doing it. I like Ramiro's.
Oh,
I'm saying
like
that out loud,
Ramiro's.
just I like Ramiro's. So Janie, my bartender, who retired. My attraction to Ramiro's is anyways, this is a motorcycle show.
Yeah, you're drifting. So right here, here's a good example for gifting. I want to gift my buddy's kids in Montana
Right.
some of these riding lessons.
Yep.
Do I have to pay for them or?
Oh, you want you want 100% disc?
No.
Oh, so wait,
No,
you
and I'll
want
gladly do it.
You want me to give you a gift so you can give a gift? That's like regifting. I'm all about that. I guess.
That's like a disease, huh?
Well, the problem is I'm pretty sure the way that you're going to do it says your buddy's kids, instead of just buying like 3 subscriptions for the 3 kids,
Oh,
you
buy
expect
them one. That's a way to do it.
well, you expect me to give you the one free one, and then you're going to say, "Hey, kids, just all look at
They
you know,
all just
all
watch
look
over
at,
each other's shoulders.
I'll look at
No, I'm not gonna
Tommy's.
do that.
Just watch Tommy's screen or use Tommy's
I'm not
login
gonna do
code."
that. No.
But Matt's got that all figured out on the computer side of things, right?
Good.
yeah, yeah.
That we'll
We're doing
catch
good.
him.
Sorry, I digress. Friends are trying to
I
call
want
me.
to thank Rick. He actually just bought the beginner series.
Oh no!
Just bought it. Forgot to use the code. Oh well. Save that $3.90.
Code Tech Talk 22. You know what?
He could buy half a gallon of gas.
Yeah.
No, that's not Ricky. That's Rick Liberson. Yeah, that's not Ricky.
No, I said Rick. I didn't say Ricky.
You said. Did he say Ricky?
He said Rick.
I thought he said Ricky. Rick. Oh, here. Hold on a second. So here's our tequila
Now,
recommendations.
Johnny's got to talk, right?
So last week we were drinking this numeral Juan tequila, and I would just say that this is absolutely horrible. Don't drink this, but George wants some, so. There we go. Yep.
He wants to shut me up, but he doesn't know that I
Hey.
get funnier than hell.
Yeah, he stole my voice, Matron. So hey, Rick, thanks a lot for signing up. I think we should give away a gift. Maybe the person that looks, the Rooster Endo bike that looks like they need the riding school the most. Do we have any that qualify for this? Any good
Next
ones?
week, not this week.
Next week? Okay, maybe we'll give
This
one.
week we have a lot of good ones.
Right.
Oh, okay, good.
Look at Matt's like little icon on his screen. He needs the damn class.
Oh, going over his handlebars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's over the handlebars.
Oh no, this is so I made that logo actually when I was getting into downhill mountain biking, and I was doing a lot of that.
I told him to take that off because that's not the image we want to portray when we're teaching off-road motorcycle
But it's
safety
on a
training.
It's on a bicycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, Travis.
You're gonna jack Travis up now.
Travis is getting all loose.
So okay. Am I supposed to say this name?
Yeah.
I have to ask you a question, Johnny. Dick Harshwood says, that's the name right there. It's Dique. Yeah, Dick Harshwood. Do you know, how do you know if your handlebars are the right height? What's the downside of bar risers? And it says Lurch from Logandale.
So it sounds like he's a tall guy if his name's Lurch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
But that means he's got low hands, right? Lurch usually got long arms.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, Lurch is, if you're Lurch, like a long arm Lurch, you
Knuckle
don't
dragger.
You don't need
You don't need
bar risers, but
Yeah. Well, my opinion, I'll just
oh,
give my
you know,
opinion.
you're the best person to give this opinion because
Yeah.
you're
So I've always been kind of a low back guy. So low back, low bars, kind of down and back, and I hang off the back, and because when I have high bars, I lose my mechanical I guess advantage when I'm steering. And so when my bars and my arms are raised too high, I feel like I can't feel the ground and have the correct wheel sensation on the front wheel. So I don't know where it is. So I like the bars to be low, and I can relax my arms, and I can steer and feel what the front tire is doing.
You steer with your bars?
no. You know what's so funny? No, George, zip it. Hey, you just drink your sippy cup over there.
Well, the ice is jingling in the mic. Can I turn this mic
No,
off
don't-
when I want to drink?
Huh? Just turn it. No, just be careful with it. I was gonna, like I usually do, interrupt.
Yeah.
I was gonna interrupt, and I said, no, I'm just gonna let him run with this because you started talking about stuff that was fundamentally different than the way we teach, but you were making a ton of sense about like when you're talking about the bars coming up higher and not having the leverage, and then when you said I like my bars down lower so I can relax, because everybody thinks they turn their motorcycle by turning the handlebars, and that's incorrect. The handlebars should magically do exactly what they should do if everything is in balance and all this stuff. And you're exactly right about, you think about it, the leverage when you start bringing something up higher, like, your hands start moving up to your shoulders, you can't put your weight into it. But when they start getting down lower, you can put your weight into the bars. The way you use the bars is when something starts going wrong. Then you can make the correction. You can push, pull, twist, do this to the bar. At least that's what a good rider does. And Johnny Campbell, you may be an excellent rider. So you have the thing, and you're thinking that you're getting a lot of feeling in your hands from what this. I bet you're actually getting more input back from your feet. Like your feet are telling you what the bike is doing more than you. Johnny hasn't been to my school. Your wife went to my school, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Did we send her through the school?
Yep. I was there.
I did one of your schools
You didn't pay attention.
in Prim.
Oh, a long time ago.
It's evolved since then.
Oh, we
Evolved.
gotten better.
But it,
We got kicked out of there.
yeah.
So what he's saying is exactly correct in that, the handlebar position is super, super critical, as much as lever position is critical, as like foot peg. We were talking about the one of the guys on the tour.
Yeah.
He was talking about he had a taller bar and he had lower foot pegs, and it was all kind of the setup that was developed. And we were sitting there, started talking about like why this, we're talking 10 millimeters here and 5 millimeters here, why all of this stuff works. And for a novice guy, they're not feeling this stuff to a high level. And you've done so much bike testing, and because you've had to try all these different setups, what works. And actually, your bikes were pretty easy to ride for me. I don't know why. Probably because the bars weren't high, now that I'm starting to think about it. And your suspension was not ridiculously stiff. You always wanted way the F too much power. I don't know why you wanted all that power on your bikes. I could go with a lot less power. Except for when I'm riding a Husaberg 570, it is, which just comes stock. Stock's good. Yeah. So, but anyways, back to the question. Did anybody remember what the question was?
No.
Handlebar. It was on your paper.
Oh, it was
Something
on the
about
paper.
handlebars.
I'm looking on the screen to try to find it.
We also just had someone else buy the course, so I want to thank you, Carlos.
How do you know if the handlebars are the right height? I would just say your bike feels good.
I think when you sit on the bike, and just me, you sit on the bike, and if you can comfortably put your hands on the bars.
Oh, Heather would like what you just did.
Just naturally putting on the bars, and you don't feel like it's too much or like too high, and it's taking effort to do that, or it's down.
But that's static.
It is, but imagine, George, you're at a shooting range, right? And
Don't talk to me about that.
Okay.
We saw my failure earlier
Okay.
today, right?
imagine, you shoot the gun and the recoil, and it comes back to the same spot every time. What's your natural? Grab the bars.
I like what he's doing
But,
there.
but that's also when you're going, slowing.
Yeah,
It's not just sitting on a
I
bike
don't want to be
stand.
using energy because my bars are too high.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be because they're too low and you're like back, And
But he's talking about like Heather. Remember how Heather says goalposts?
Yeah.
She says the goalposts. He just did the goalpost without saying goalpost. He kind of did that goalpost things. But I would say that it needs to be comfortable, like not too high. And there's something you can just do static that you would feel, but you'll know when you're riding. I mean, and there's so much. There's height, then there's sweep. And when sweep starts turning your elbows in or pushes your bars in, put your bars turn your.
And you're standing and you're sitting.
Yeah, it's different.
That's right. So
I hate George's bike that he leaves at my house. The only reason I don't ride it is he has tall bars on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try the regular mount instead of the sub,
Yep.
just to play around with it.
Yeah.
Because that 390 thing, that was the biggest change that
And we raised the crap out of those
Yeah,
bars,
yeah.
and it made a huge. I mean,
made it really feel good. I mean,
'Cause
Jim and I were riding it.
that bike was never designed to be ridden standing up for 90% of the riders. And that's the thing is there's certain they design bikes certain ways to do certain things, and this is why there's so much aftermarket out there. But I know in the adventure bike world we call it high bar Kool-Aid. Everybody's drinking it. I got to raise the bars. I got to raise the bars because there were certain bikes that definitely had bars that were too low. Because they were like the KTM 390, they were designed to be ridden sitting down 99% of the time. So why bother, setting it up for there?
Well, it's a street bike frame. Dirt bikes, the steering head's
and what's
up
this?
in you. Street bikes, it's usually lower and out forward.
Yeah. And then what are you riding? Like what type of are you just riding trails? You're riding motocross? You're riding desert ride? Are you riding highway? That makes a big difference of where your comfort is also.
And the bikes I ride, the higher speeds, desert, faster stuff, have 5 to 10 millimeters more bar rise. And this goes for my adventure bikes. The adventure bikes I ride more off-road tend to have a higher bar rise than the adventure bikes I ride predominantly on the street. And my street one's like a lower setup. So there's so much stuff that you can set up, but
Comfort.
It comes down to comfort and what's
Individual
comfortable.
comfort.
And sometimes for some people they just feel it, and other people you need to have somebody, they kind of need to be told. But I would always start, stock is generally pretty good for the intended purpose of the bike, for what it's designed. And if you need to go one direction or the other, whether you're tall or short or whatever it is, it may not just be just because you're tall you need bar risers. Because I've seen tall guys that are all legs and no arms. And I've seen other tall guys that are all arms, all torso. Aren't you that, George? You're a torso guy? Because George can't even fit in my UTV.
Yeah.
He's short and he can't
And
even.
my head hits the top.
Yeah. So what works for you is not going to work for me. Everybody's different and likes a different flavor just because our ergonomics, we're all built different.
And I'll tell you what the biggest downsides that we see from the tall bar or bar risers is when it stands you up and all of a sudden your arms are closer. You try to get in this certain position, and a lot of times it pushes your upper body back and the pelvis goes forward. This is the worst thing.
Very good.
This is the worst thing for you don't want to have your pelvis forward while you're riding, because watch even really good riders, they fold at the hips but they fold back. They don't fold forward. And so tall bars can tend to cause you to fold forward in order to stand all the way up, to stand upright. And Johnny was good at folding the hips back.
So I've heard you describe
The stink bug, huh?
Yeah, the stink bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The stink bug.
And it all comes down, like you always preach, Jimmy. It all comes down to balance. And if you're in a position where you're not getting your full mechanical balance on the bike, you're off balance. And off balance means you're not going to ride very good.
Hey, your results do not tell me that stink bug riding doesn't
Not
work. So hey, and everybody's different. Like some people have just different feel, the way they feel the bike and stuff. So, man, sorry to go Dick Harshwood way off the chart on that. But what was that, 20 minutes on bar risers, Matt?
15.
15, yeah, pretty solid.
Got to give a shout out to my buddies that are watching though. Riverstone Family Lodge in Eureka, Montana. If you're Eureka, Montana, north of Kalispell.
Did you
stay at the Riverstone Family Lodge?
You didn't pay me the $5 you were supposed to pay me for that read.
You got those rims out there.
Okay, good. Now I'm buying some rims.
Es muy barraco. What's that?
It means I'm drunk.
Oh,
He's trying to say that I am
Muy
drunk.
borracho.
Es muy borracho. Yeah. Not really.
Don't know that one.
Yeah. Oh, it's Mexico for you just having
It's
a good
pretty
time.
easy bet with you or I. Just to throw that out there.
Yeah, it's shooting for the big target. Bill Hall has a question. I have a riding question for you, Johnny, on this fine full moon evening. I am fine riding my 500. The higher gear I can get away with while keeping the RPMs relatively low is better for the traction I get, and it's easier to ride. Would this be one of your riding secrets that you would share with us mere mortals at your riding school?
That's for Johnny?
Yeah, I just switched the name. Well, how about your riding school? What do you think about? So he's talking about, is there a technique for gear high riding?
Yeah, for when you're riding in let's just say at a gear tall, or when the RPMs are lower, you're not upsetting the chassis. And so when you upset the chassis because you're spinning and having a high RPM, you're losing traction, and traction can upset your suspension, but mostly the chassis. And so that's correct. Like I learned early on, because I grew up riding big bikes, and that CR500s and CR250s.
He didn't mess around with those 125s. Those are for kids.
I had a 1 year on that, and got rid of those things.
Really?
I need torque.
Hey,
So-
what's that thing right over there?
Oh, there's a CR80, 1980 CR80.
You know where that came from?
That came from my first CR80.
That's your CR80.
That lived on the side of your house.
Yeah.
So what year was that?
1980. I wanted one of those things so bad.
Yeah.
I was actually bummed out when Johnny told me he had one of those. I'm like, dude, you had one of those?
But yeah, I grew up on big bikes, so I had to learn how to make those work, because CR500s at Carlsbad Raceway, there's zero traction, and you got 60 horsepower, and I was like 135 pounds at 16 years old riding those things. So I learned how to short shift really quick in order to, one, get traction, propel yourself forward, and, keep the chassis like calm. And I never had good suspension. I never even
In the early
serviced
days.
it. In the
early
early days. So that riding, a 2-stroke 500 that way, but that goes along for any bike and any discipline. That I always had I had some partners that rode the bike like on the rev limit and stuff.
It wasn't me.
And we'd fight suspension. But once you learn how to click it up a gear and use the torque of that motor, that's when the handling comes into play.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like when your motor's spinning fast and everything's spinning, it's like a gyro, and it's hard to like kind of knock that thing out of line. So your bike gets heavier when it's doing that, and then plus your bike's heavier, and now all of a sudden you start breaking traction, and so maybe it's not exactly going where you want it to, and so and then it stiffens up the suspension. Chain torque tightens up the suspension, it tightens up the chassis. There's a lot to that, and for sure what Johnny's talking about is absolutely true. And like learning to lug a bike, and I started on 125. I started small bikes. I was always small bike guy, and those bikes you have to just kind of keep them pinned. But even pinned, they're not making near the kind of horsepower that a big bike would, and the motor, the components are smaller, so it's not having the same effect. But when you start riding a big bike and you try to ride it like that and it doesn't work, it kind of shows you that, hey, there is something to that whole chassis stuff. And half the reason I did so well on small bikes, I think when I was younger, is because people didn't realize this, how the chassis stuff worked. I could get my little 125 to work so much better than a guy on a big 500, that even though he was, pinned across a valley, his bike would be ricocheting all over the place, and mine would just track and go where I wanted it to.
Well, you can make those 125s sing. I mean, you really do. That's kind of why I baited you out the sand track to ride that gal's 125. And I was surprised because through the class I noticed she really relied on that low. I didn't even know if you could lug a 125 like she ended up doing.
Yeah.
To do that. And she ended up kind of, I think after you took her for a ride, she ended up doing more of that.
Well,
it worked out really well.
She started. She was lugging it even below where it should have been lugged. I mean, it was just like she needed to just bring it up just a little bit more.
A little, but a lot of it was. It seemed like she really wanted to scream it out to get it way up there in the torque, and then later she found that sweet spot where she could chug it along.
It was one thing or the other. It was lug below where it was lugging, and then but if I had a chance, I'm going to scream it. And she didn't realize there's this whole place in the middle, and it's setting the throttle against. You may be half throttle, but it's only kind of like we'll call it a quarter throttle's worth of RPM.
Right.
Because you're kind of loading the throttle up against you're trusting the torque of the motorcycle. Mm. And this is even what Johnny's talking about. That's that gear high thing. Especially on fuel injected bikes now, you can take a fuel injected bike and just whack the throttle wide open. You do that in first gear, bad things are going to happen. You do that same thing in third gear, and it's just going to pull nice and smooth. And this is where the TPI, the fuel injected 2-strokes, are just amazing, because before, if you turn the throttle like you'd want to at this super low RPM, it would bog out and stutter and it wouldn't pull. And now when they have the ability to build power, they'll accelerate. And if they don't have the ability to build power, they'll just keep chugging along. They won't just the carburetor doesn't get all confused in its analog manner.
Read Trevor's there.
He says, what is the best way to break bad habits of revving bikes?
Shift sooner. What? Trevor, come on, man. This is why he's not getting any more stickers. Exactly that. JimmyLewisOffroad.com.
You need to put a really super big main jet in your bike. Oh, is it carbureted?
The bike he's riding? I don't know. I don't think Trevor's really a rever, though.
Are you, Trevor?
I don't know.
Did your dad make you do that?
Yeah, it's his dad.
Is he asking for a friend?
Yeah, he's asking for his dad. His dad doesn't even know how to type on the internets.
Practice short shifting.
Okay, so there's a
What
second.
time is it?
Hey, there's a
Might be
second.
time for.
There's
ads.
there's a second part to this question.
Oh yeah.
This is the part for me. It says, also, riding after consuming large quantities of alcohol helps my balance. Thanks for all your riding and tech tips without referring to a manual or checking percentages of alcohol in your favorite adult beverages.
Who's that?
It's a guy named Bill Hall. That's not very smart.
No.
See, ask Johnny if he knows him. No, that's not. Okay, so don't consume large quantities of alcohol, actually, at any time. It does not help your balance. This is easy, George. You gotta
don't
walk.
do that.
You gotta walk back to your motorhome. It doesn't help your balance. This has been scientifically proven. And in fact, if my wife were here, she would tell you.
Should be here.
She would tell you exactly why it doesn't, even though you think it does. It's really it's amazing. Like when you start learning about all that stuff.
I can tell you what it does.
Oh yeah, you hold on a second. I think this is George
It relaxes your mind, which relaxes your body. But don't confuse that with being better or sharper.
Okay, that's good. There we go. The voice from down below tells us how that works.
It's your conscience.
It's your conscience. Okay, is it time for a break?
Yeah, it's 8:04.
8:04. So we're gonna come back. So back to Chris Parker's question.
People are saying, no, we're going to come back. No, don't.
The good tequila. Well, this is where we lose half of our audience, and we can get to the good part of the show.
Really tear it up.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're gonna get back to the good part of the show because everybody
'cause
leaves.
we have that special thing happening in the next hour.
Right. And the commercials, you have to, go through these commercials. Actually, some of them are kind of cool. We're going to get better ones soon. I heard we're getting better ones.
Oh, we are.
Yeah. So this is the good tequila, Chris, by the way. This is the Loma Azul. You turn me on to this. I'm going to let Johnny have some of this if he wants. But
Don't do it.
But not George. Actually, I'm not going to let Johnny pour it because we saw what happened last time I handed him the expensive bottle. And that went from there. So, speaking of alcohol, small quantities, have a good time with it. Again, I'd like to thank Taco Moto. It's going to sponsor our Roosterendo segment.
Yep.
We have another $100 gift certificate.
Yes, we do.
So if you want to, get $100 worth of cool stuff for your bike, send us a Roosterendo. Yamaha, they have, well, if you're a motocross rider looking to dominate,
Oh boy.
Here, give me that.
give it to you.
Give me that.
No, we're not going to give you. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com to explore what's new and improved for 2022. They have YZ450F, YZ250F. There's YZ125, all new two-stroke this year, YZ250. There's the YZ85, YZ65, and even the YZ85LW if you want to take on that new thing at the Adelanto Grand Prix. That'd be the Futures class. So no matter what you want, you can get it in a Monster Energy Yamaha Racing Editions graphic package. And if you have a four-stroke, they have the industry's only free power tuner app, which is super awesome. You can make your YZ work just for you. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com today to find out.
Honda Man's quiet here.
That's JCR Honda. He's okay. He has to race against those things. He knows how awesome they can be. I have a YZ125 in the garage, and I like it. And then you can wear your Scott goggles, your climb gear. You can have DDC sprockets, and you can run a Trail Tech GPS or radiator fan or
You
whatever.
know what? I got all that stuff fully paid for. Scott's goggles.
Because of this show.
With it, no, way before. Scott's goggles, transition lenses, DDC sprockets. I've used him. Climb, all in with that. The only thing I don't have is the Trail Tech because a buddy of mine said he'd hook me up with the Trail Tech. And it just hasn't happened. It's been like 2 years. But yeah, I'm still waiting to test the Trail Tech.
All you have to do is go on the tour, right, Jim? Yeah. So, okay, with that, we're going to see you at the next segment or see you out on the trail. You ready to run it? This isn't the end of the show. How about commercials, Matt?
Break to commercial. I have to pee.
Do you want commercials or you want that other video?
Oh, no. Go to commercials.
Okay.
No.
All right, we'll see you guys. in a
The
few
other
minutes then.
video, that's
What
a
a
super
shit show.
surprise.
Okay, kind of let me.
You stayed for this one.
Living in the back room, sneaking through the back door. Never gonna get me, never gonna get me. Living in the back room, sneaking through the back door. Never gonna get me, get me, get me.
What's up, Moto Buddies? Mike here from Taco Moto Co. What is the Taco Touch? It's the best service in the industry. Virtually 24/7 tech support via email or text, and it's like having a dirt bike doctor on call every day of the year, helping you fix your bike or recommend parts or setups for you. If you've ever received an order from us, you'll know that the Taco Touch extends to our fulfillment, and our orders come with the coolest stickers that you've ever had, buying parts from anybody before, and a handful of root beer barrel candies. All of our Taco Moto Co. branded components come with a no questions asked lifetime warranty, and we'll even extend out the warranty of other manufacturers, OEM, and aftermarket parts where we can, sometimes for life. We test and tune endlessly and exhaustively and obsessively. We're trying to destroy everything that we can before you get your hands on it to look for weaknesses and to improve it, or to make recommendations to the manufacturer. And if it's something that doesn't meet grade, then we don't offer it on the store. Everything that we carry is something that we have personally used, tested, and ridden, and raced, and knows meets the high Taco Touch demanding standard. Go out and get some adventure.
One thing happens and everybody wants to.
Are we starting again?
I'm sure there's
we're
a
starting
forum
again.
with
Okay, so live. Again, we're restarting the show, guys.
We're live.
Let's
George
roll.
had to take a break, but he's getting calls from his wife, I believe. She probably told you to, cut back on the voice-o-matron. Sounds too much like, playing around at home.
It's not my wife. She's in Colorado having fun. It's other friends.
So the good thing is that I found, we had a, we'll talk about the Husaberg stuff later. I uncovered some evidence of all this stuff that I talked about. I rode a Husaberg for 180 miles yesterday. Yesterday.
Is that a big deal?
It's not my fault.
Apparently
Yeah.
for Husaberg it is.
Well, I was like leading a tour, leading a tour at some points, and then roosting off to the side of the tour, and it's like you can't control that thing. It just wants to go so fast. So
You got to short shift it.
Sure, it's all you can do. I mean, if you, I've explained many times in the show how if I actually turn the throttle to the end, it causes a lot of hoop-de-doos. Not whoop-de-doos. Hoop-de-doos? Whoop-de-doos? Hoopties.
I thought it either accelerated the speed of the Earth,
It can
or slowed it down,
Yeah, right.
or perhaps moved the polar boundaries, whichever way.
It depends on which direction you're going. I have explained this before too, but most people don't understand it causes the hoops not because it's like digging trenches. It ripples the earth. It actually takes it and takes what's in front of it and stretches it and pushes it back into ripples behind it.
Did you
seen
hear
this
me
with
hit
carpets.
the rev limiter on that going up the road the other day, drying it out?
On my Husaberg?
Yeah.
No, you can't hit the rev limiter.
Oh yeah, I can. It was a lot lower than I thought.
Okay.
Actually. You know, it was
no,
like
no.
4,800 RPM. Pop, 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 pop.
No, it wasn't like that. The only way I would know that you hit the rev limiter is because there'd be nice smooth pavement in front of where you did it and ripples behind. So that's the answer to that question. Okay, so we're going to get into... Actually, we're going to get our last question from Sean Ballon. Sean Ballon. Okay. Great show, but sorry, George. And he spelled George with a G. I don't know
So
who that
it
is.
wasn't me.
Yeah, you're wrong. The 1974 Yamaha Rooster Endo submission is a DT175A. Anybody should have
Okay,
known that.
so
Yamaha started with the DT designation with the 74 model year. Previously, the 1973 Yamaha 125 was known as a CT3 175 Enduro. Did you know this?
not about the CT because I never had any interest in those little bikes. But no, so last week I actually sent in, and you didn't know who it was because it just said Facebook
User?
something. User.
Yeah.
Because I was actually watching the show on Matt's repost. How do you? I don't
Right.
Know how you
Oh.
say that.
Oh,
And I put in, I
repost
stand
it.
corrected, because the RT one was a 360 street legal bike. The DT one was a 250 iteration of the street legal, Yamaha. And I thought RT was street legal and DT was just the dirt. Then they did have an MX model, which was different.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't need to get into these idiosyncrasies
don't.
because somebody like Trevor is watching
But yeah.
and he's asking questions for his friend who's worried about over-revving his bike. But I know that this segment takes a tank every time that you start talking about vintage bikes. So I brought a cat because kitty cat videos are really popular on the internet. This is Selma. Here, Selma, say hi.
She is purring, yeah.
Yeah, oh, the cat's super stoked to be on the show. Yeah. So we're going to just shove her underneath the table where she belongs because we don't really like cats that much unless they kill animals on the thing. So, hey, Sean, thanks a lot for giving us our Yamaha DT, CT, and MX history.
Yeah, thanks. My life's more complete with being corrected and everything.
Right. Don't you have one of those still?
I have an RT.
You have an RT. Why don't you bring it
RT
out
one,
and
it's a
let's find out where the rev limiter on that two-stroke is.
I found it. My brother did. He fell down on the throttle slide and it pinned it wide open and it went ring, ring. I'm like, pick it up, And then it went crunch, and I took the pipe off and the pieces of piston came out. So that was its rev limiter
Why?
in those days.
Why did it go crunch? Because it did it lean out? Did it kind of seize, or did
I
it
think
just?
way over revved,
And those were a piston port, right?
well, understand, yeah. No piston port.
Reed valve?
No, didn't have a reed valve. Just the heads, ported. Is that what you
No,
call
no,
a
no, no. I'm
piston
talking about
port?
what's the induction? How is it? Is it so on two strokes you can have a piston port would be super old school. There's just one port that goes
the
in
back
the
of the cylinder.
Yeah,
and
the
one
back.
in the front. They're
So
different levels.
Yeah. At that point, like a piston port. No, a piston port. There has to be something to stop the pressure from going back at the carburetor. So they had rotary.
When
they
the
had, they had-
piston gets at a
they had-
certain height, that
they-
blocks that off.
yeah, that's straight piston port.
There was
and
there
then
was nothing in there to prevent anything.
because the piston would have to go past the piston port so that the
To
gas
shut
could
it
get
off.
into the. Well, it'd open it up to go into the bottom of the. It'd go into the bottom end, and then it would come back down and everything would go back in. Then there was the rotary valve. So it was the piston
Didn't
was
have that.
that was like the old JT, the JT one.
I don't know about that one.
That was a little mini bike. I think it was a 60, and that was it was like a disc that had a slot cut into it when it was spinning on the crank, and it would open up. And then there's reed valves, of course, that we've all familiar with.
That was passed this year. So mine, I had the street legal version. My buddy had the Amex.
Yep.
And we took it, we looked at him, took it apart. His was quicker and faster and everything.
Right.
And so we just measured literally with a plastic millimeter ruler where his ports were. And I penciled that in and ground it out with a Dremel tool to raise my ports and lower them and so forth.
So yours could have been
And that thing went like hell. I mean, it
what's
worked.
the other? I'm trying to think of the other one is a case reed, or not case, or just case. So the intake goes straight into the crankcase.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
how it was. It was just went straight down. Came
Yeah,
up
so
the
the-
sides.
no-
There was a port when the piston got to a certain level. It intaked. It went up. It shut that off. It compressed it, and then it exhausted it. That was
Right.
it.
So because some of them go. Yeah, I'm trying to think of how to explain it in an audio thing without a diagram. I could draw it on a thing, but I'm having a hard thing. So,
No.
piston port is all 2 strokes except a rotary valve.
Okay.
David, yeah,
Whatever.
yeah, but there's like I said, there's reed valves. I've seen a couple different things. Actually, you want to know something? If you're really into 2 strokes, there's some guy on the internet, on YouTube, he's called 2 Stroke Stuffing. I think I've brought him up before. He's building this
Is that a
supercharged.
porn channel or something?
No, not that one.
Okay.
This guy, he started out just as a guy trying to document, like, I'm gonna build the world's fastest 2-stroke, 50, the most horsepower per cc kind of a thing. And anyways, his YouTube channel, he gets tons of views and stuff, but he's done all these crazy things. And I think he's drinking a little too much, which like is obviously not the key to a successful podcast. George,
Does he have good
Ice
balance
is
at
not
least?
the key.
does he have good balance?
Yeah. I mean, if he's
He's pretty handy with some of the machines in the garage. So, but anyways, if you're into 2 strokes and you want to learn a lot about 2 strokes, different things, 2 Stroke Stuffing, go check that channel out. I like to see that.
Be careful.
Victor says he can see some Jerry Bernardo designs. Victor, you have a sharp eye, and you obviously haven't had enough to drink. Let's see. Case reed is still piston port. That's correct too. Yeah. So yeah.
That's pretty good. The next one, Jeff. Bannon.
Hey. Sometimes I have to think on this show, and it hurts. And this is the problem. Is now my definitions are confused because I just started talking. And you're right. What did I get wrong last show? Do you remember what it was that?
Narrow it down, Jimmy.
yeah.
Besides the whole show? Okay. Okay, so let's see. We're done with these questions here. I can
See,
just crumple this stuff up.
This is when you're getting old. Jeff Banton here.
Hey,
Yes.
Johnny, any relation to Preston Campbell, number 3 with JCR? Yeah, that's when you're getting old. Yes. Say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your
I know-
kid.
I know that guy.
Yeah, you
Sorry,
know that
dude.
guy.
I know that guy.
We trying to ignore him this week?
Yeah. Preston's my kid.
Okay,
Whatever happened with his ticket? I'll ask you that off.
102.
102 miles an hour.
102 got it dismissed. Ticket dismissers. Dismissed the ticket. Went from 2 points to 1 point. I think he ended up having to pay them like $800.
That was advice from
gone.
Expensive
from
license.
George.
No traffic school.
Okay, Cadle, say that name.
Clayt Liedman.
That's good. You're better at spelling than me. from Bob Nari. Jimmy, what's your take on the KTM 250 free ride? We have a test on it on dirtbiketest.com. www.dirtbiketest.com. Search KTM free ride, and you can see exactly what I think about it. But now I'm drawing off memory, which evidently, as we've seen, is not that good. And I have a hard time explaining what I think. But
Or said.
or I said last week. I'm just going to sum it up. It's a really cool idea. In other words, I think they wanted to kind of build this bike for smaller, more entry level riders, maybe like an urban kind of cross between trials bike and a moto bike. And I think they did all that stuff, and it just turned out to be completely wrong. Is that
Even for somebody that's just that stature?
the problem? Is it's ergonomically awkward.
For you, is a normal human.
No, but even for a small person, just the way the bike handles and stuff.
So isn't it kind of close to the Beta X?
Beta didn't go to the extreme that KTM did. KTM took it like one level. We'll call it either too far or too correct. And so I took one of those, and I actually went out and I thought, this is going to be the most awesome bike to set up King of the Motos, because I used to use my KTM 200, smaller, lighter, more agile bike. Had enough power. And I'm like, oh, good. There's a 250, a little more power, like torque. I meant, and it's in a smallerish chassis, and I thought it was going to be really good. And I thought it was going to be a little bit like more like a trials bike, especially because the way the pipe was and stuff. And it didn't do it. It's kind of like an XR 400, Johnny. It's this bike that's really good at doing a lot of everything. It's just not good at anything. Yeah, it's that. And so that's kind of my opinion. I mean, it's not bad. The suspension's kind of limited, where the Beta X Trainer would be the bike I would stack it up against, like compare it to. The Beta X Trainer, they just use downgraded suspension components that probably perform very similar to the KTM components. The KTM components, in my opinion, are kind of at their limit, where the Beta ones could be made better. They're just that, and then the chassis on the Beta is not awkward. It's not different, compromised in certain ways. But I don't know. I think it's a cool bike. I think it's awesome that companies are willing to experiment and try that kind of stuff. And for the right person, that's an awesome bike. But if you're thinking that that's the answer to the question, it either is or it isn't. And I can't tell you whether it's right for you, Bob, or not.
You really don't ride a lot of different bikes, do you?
Just
this
Hondas.
point where you are.
Red ones.
Just
Red ones that aren't gases.
The real red. The
The real red ones.
And do you do like basic factory beta testing?
Hey, you know
or
what?
whatever for
I
mine?
know
Yeah.
I know that this guy in secret rides other brands. I know that you have to, because how can you if you're doing testing, you have to ride the competition stuff.
It's common, I think.
Allegedly.
every manufacturer
Yeah.
has comparison bikes.
Okay, so G Wiz asks, of course, G Wiz says, what do you and Johnny Campbell think of the new CRF 250 RX? So I'm going to just tell you point blank that Johnny thinks it's a really good bike, and he's going to tell you how great it is. And I can't tell you what I think because I haven't ridden it.
What's the RX distinguish? What kind of bike is that?
The RX is like a closed course competition off-road bike.
Okay.
So not motocross, but maybe not open desert, but more like GP, GNCC. So the RX is closed course. So like say the X model is like a green sticker. It's off-road, legal, meets the requirements. And the R would be the motocross model. So this one kind of fits the void in between.
Okay.
But to get to the question, I mean, the CRF 250 RX is my favorite bike, hands down. Like,
Hey, if it carries over the improvements that the motocross bike, the R, had, that bike is going to get really good. And I already liked it.
yeah, if I compare it to last year's model with the new chassis and the new upgrades, the chassis is just so much more lighter, nimble, easier to move around, change direction, single track trail. They kept the stability, but with the added torque that the motor has, it makes it so fun on the trails, and a lot of guys are even racing that bike. So, and some in the 250 class.
We're going to have an impression of the bike later this week, by the way. Trevor Hunter just informed me.
Yeah.
That's an impression, but with an O on it. I don't know why. But
Because O's right next to I am gonna guess on a keyboard.
that's more than I know. I stay away from keyboards because they lead me to Facebook and YouTube and all the other places I can get lost. Okay. So Berm Cannon says, "What's up, legends? When is the Africa Twin 650 coming?"
They're making a smaller one.
Well, no, they're gonna crash a CBX 500 and Africa Twin into each other, and then they're gonna get that whatever they just talked
So
about.
is that a single cylinder?
We're supposed to go to the Rooster Endo. Why, you got to go to bed?
No, it's just it's
hopefully.
almost
It's
8:30.
that
It's
time.
a timing
It's almost
thing.
8:30.
It's
Yeah.
a timing thing.
Normally do it after commercial, but
Yep.
Okay.
conversation's good.
Okay, so we're gonna go straight. Are you doing the announcements, George? We're not gonna take the board down. Just
Oh yeah, take the board down.
okay,
Bring the board down
because it's gonna hit me in the head.
my friends, if they're still watching in Montana, got to see the endo side of it. Is that here?
Right there. Just don't hit the microphone. I got it.
Got it?
It's all balanced. That thing's not gonna fall off, is it?
Well, I'm holding it.
Well, I don't want to hit the soundboard over here.
Okay.
Okay, just drop it over there. Here we go.
Okay. Explain the roost and the endo side. So endo
Well,
is
it's
bad.
really simple. This is the segment where you send your picture of your bike you tell us what kind of bike it is, and you tell us what you've done to it, and then we discuss it on the show. Hopefully, everybody but you learns something from what we think of your bike, and then you hate us or love us, and you could potentially win $100 from tacomoto.co. Hopefully, it's a KTM if you're getting that, because there's a million more parts for KTMs and KTM related brands, but we don't discriminate. Even if you send a picture of your ATC 185,
No, it's a 250 or something. It's a big one. It's the so
what's the big
explain
red?
What yeah.
Is it big red?
Explain what sets the boundaries for
Roost
my
is,
friends in Montana. Because my bike winners there.
your bike winners. Oh, your Roost bike?
Yeah.
Do you have a bike that roosts?
No, the endo.
The Endo. Well, roost means it's good. It means
Which
it's
is what? This thing.
That's the standard. That's the high standard for roosting.
Which is what?
It's my personal Husaberg 570.
And what's the bottom?
I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you just
I've
one.
ridden that bike many times.
I'm going to show you
And
one
there's no
later on in
magic.
the show. I will show you one example. Matt, you'll agree with me why that bike roosts.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is undisputed proof
Because it's
that this bike roosts, and we have.
Husaberg, which starts with an H, is like a Honda.
Yeah, it's like H. It starts as like a Honda. It starts with an H, and then Endo is because like we talk
What's
about
the
motor.
Endo bike?
We talk about motorcycles on this show, and some jackass sent a picture of a 3-wheeler in and said, "Does this thing roost?" Because and the worst thing is he bought it because he thought he was going to get to participate in the Ultra 3 World Championships, but you need to start. He didn't even read the rule book that there isn't one, but you need to start with an ATC 70, and he just went straight to
250 or 300. It's,
Big
it's
Red.
a
It's a
big
200.
one. Big one. The
185?
Ranch. No,
185
it's a
S?
250.
Yeah, it's something
It's a
like
big
that.
one. It's a,
Hey, let's stop talking
so
about
that's,
like AT.
That's Endo. That's the ATC.
Endo. Well, it could be any
Yeah,
of the
it's a
bikes from
3-wheeler.
here
It's
down
Big
are
Red.
Endos.
We
These-
call it Big Red.
These bikes all Endo, and you know what? By and large, lately, it seems like the trend to get your bike to Endo is to bolt on my favorite part currently, a big giant metal front disc guard.
Do you have those? Do you use those?
Why?
Do you
Yeah,
have an
I-
opinion on it?
So Jimmy, this has become quite a joke amongst the
I've never
the
used
listeners.
a front disc
Oh,
guard.
it's a joke.
Yeah, they.
Oh,
on
they don't
their
know that
Facebook
I'm
post-
serious.
No.
Hey, you know
they
what?
know you're serious.
No,
They
I
put
got
on the
I got
Facebook.
I got heat. I got heat because we actually bolted one onto a bike, and I'm gonna explain. Because I'm the Princess and the Pea?
Princess and the Pea.
Yeah, some guy's wife was listening to the show.
Mostly the P.
Well, I said, hey, we bolted one onto a bike, and I felt it was on a CRF 450X, by the way, and I felt this thing, and I'm starting to kind of think, more and more about like, what did I feel, and like I'm pretty sure it was what it did to the clamping, more than now that I know, I started thinking about it because it wasn't the weight, because somebody, a smart person, sent me all these weights of all these different.
Chris.
Yeah, all these different front fork things.
So how does the
discards.
clamping affect it?
It binds.
Rigidity.
Yeah,
But it's this far apart on a. Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, you guys know.
Yeah, people don't know, but we do. Okay, because we're superior. Okay, so let's get into Rooster End.
The
Grab the first one.
non-mortals. No.
All right, I gotta
just trust
make a Kenda plug here though,
Okay.
because Jeff Benton wants to know a California Hare and Hound tire.
Oh, Parker
Kenda Parker DT.
DTs, hard direction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yep.
hard direction.
there you go.
No,
Really?
I'm 100% on with that.
Yeah.
Their price point's really good.
Yeah.
That's why.
That
Get to
tire's
the
good.
get to the Rooster Ender,
Okay, Rooster
George.
Ender.
Co-host, this is your job.
Well, Johnny, I thought I'd read
One
these.
job.
So I'm supposed to give this. Hey. No.
I can't even.
Okay.
I can't
So here's a
even
picture.
run
What's
my
on
own
that?
show.
Who's the first
This
one?
is John Schallmeyer.
John Schallemiter. Johnny,
Just
don't
a
cheat.
2015 YZ250FX. No real mods aside from spark plug arrestor and a couple of bash guards.
A spark plug arrestor.
Yeah.
Spark plug
It's
arrestor.
not a real good picture.
Does it have muffler bearings or?
Is this a spark plug arrestor?
Yep. That's
He's
all
got
it
a
says.
he's got a giant light bar on the front of that thing. Dude, Trevor needs to see that thing because that hokey dokey thing that they run every year. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, he hasn't he gone to Baugh Designs and figured it out yet?
I don't know,
There's
but
some good stuff available.
yeah,
Trevor,
there's
quit revving your bike.
Yeah, shift sooner.
This guy looks like he's on the gas. He's aggressive. I like the riding style. I'm actually pretty happy with the riding style.
It's got a little
Scott
weight on the
goggles.
outside peg.
Yeah,
I
he's
see that?
definitely weight in the outside of the foot pegs.
Yeah. He's
That's
got-
so. What? Let me see this sheet. Just a 2015 YZ250.
There's not
I'm gonna
not much sheet
That's a
here.
great
really.
bike.
I like the fact he has a light. That I'm just assuming that he does ride at night, and that's a cool factor. Right
Yeah, he's
there.
doubling his riding time.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Roost. That was easy. I was
Really?
It's Blue Crew too.
And
We're-
he
Yamaha.
didn't
Johnny
Gucci
Pennant.
out his aftermarket junk all over his bike.
He says he has some protective stuff, which is good, and he's riding the hell out of that thing. Good, run it, Roost. Here's a pin, Johnny. Just stick it up there high on the Roost side. But the amount of words there means he's just trolling us for the $100 certificate.
Right.
So we got to be careful because Rooster Ender means nothing. It's the $100 from Takamoto that could send you someplace.
And the winner of the Rooster Endo segment isn't necessarily the winner of the $100.
No, well, I mean,
Wait, what?
no. The winner of the Rooster Endo segment, you could endo and still get the $100.
Yeah, I
because
guess
you
that's
might
what I mean.
you might need it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we just make it up as we go. Okay, so this is Jacob Kyler.
Right.
Got him up. 2021 FE 501 or 501. Mako bar mounts. That's a 360-degree rubberized thing.
Yeah. It's dampening. Yep.
ASV levers.
Yep.
Achirby hand guards and frame guards. Mother of all radiator guards. What's that?
Mother of all.
Yeah. Okay. Molecule Motorsports skid plate. Sick ass light switch and sick ass rear brake plate switch. Okay. That's nice.
Really
That's a real brand.
It's a real brand. I have some of their stuff. I have their key limiter stuff, and on a few of the bikes that I've got, they make a, instead of KTM's switch, it's about this long, and I'm showing the size of well, it's about 3 inches. they make one that's like 1.5 inches, so it's smaller and it fits better.
Sick ass.
It's sick ass. It's thinner, so you can put more stuff on your handlebars. He's got checkers on it. Is he a checker?
Yeah.
He's out like in a tilled cornfield or something.
Are there checkers back east?
I don't know, because that's not checkers from. If it was checkered, there'd be like some broken down cars, and there'd be a meth lab over to the side.
I don't like how he has checkers on his seat too. Like the grips, the gripper
grippers are
seat, it has checkers on it.
That's attention to detail. This guy thought
Should
out
have
that.
put the Serape seat on like Bob.
The handlebar dampening thing kind of scares me.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy does that.
Yeah, I don't
He
know.
does handle
Flex.
bars,
I'm
yeah.
flex bars.
I don't have any experience with it, so I really.
I
don't know.
I tested the early versions of those things, and they do work. They do certain things, and it's a characteristic. If you're looking for, you'd like it.
Disconnect you from your steering?
For me,
Oh, you don't steer with your handlebars.
No.
yeah. Well, it doesn't disconnect me from my steering.
I like
It
that.
disconnected me a little bit from what I'm feeling. It was interesting, but no, there's a lot of people like them. They're they do things, they do stuff, and good or bad is dependent on the rider. He doesn't have a front disc guard, and if he does, he's hidden it. Just for that, I'm going to give him a roost.
Yeah, the rear brake guard actually is all scuffed up.
Oh, so he's
Oh,
using
nice.
it. Yeah. Okay, next.
You got a pin?
Okay,
Oh,
Tim
Ben.
Henderson. Got Tim up there. 2022 EXC 250F.
EXC 250F. I've got one of those. Wait, it's a 20 what? Oh, no.
He says it's a 22.
Okay,
That picture's not very
EXC.
good. Are
Do
we
they
sure
sti-
they make it?
Yeah, I'm getting confused. The colors indicate 2022.
I think this could be a troll.
Wait a
I've
minute.
not seen any lights
This
or
is
anything.
fake. This is fake news.
Yeah.
EXC. And where's the license plate from? Looks like foreign. I don't know that they still make a 250 an EXC 250F. I thought that was kind of. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. So EXC would have taillights and turn signals.
Yeah, and this thing doesn't have
That should be.
It just has a.
It has a
Tail
license
light.
plate.
Could it be an XCW?
Oh, maybe. Wait, where's he from? What
I don't
country?
know.
Doesn't say.
Oh no.
What's his name?
Tim Henderson.
That's two.
US guy.
So it's not like
Give me that. Give me. Let me.
Ollie
Okay,
Wada,
read.
Bob, like
No.
click, click,
He has
whatever
clicks.
from, you know,
Clicks in his name.
yeah, South wherever it is.
Dude, we've had people in this show that have clicks in their names.
Yeah,
Okay, read off what he's got on it. It's stock. It's
radiator fan, radiator guards, front disc guard. So just throw them away.
Oh,
now.
he's lying.
But
not on
yeah,
there.
It's not even
I don't
on
think
there.
it's on there. Back wheel disc guard, traction and map switch, swing arm protector. What's a swing arm protector?
None of this is on
They're,
this
they're
piece
not
of-
even
even
his
on the
bike.
Bark buster.
We sure we got the right bike?
Yeah.
In
yeah.
tank filter.
This is the right bike.
And
You know what I
intake.
think you should do?
Hey,
Is we should
he-
table this and allow him a week to redeem himself and explain what the fuck is going on.
yeah, here, give me that mic
just
real
take
quick.
him off.
Give me that mic.
No,
Come on,
No.
just give it to me.
no.
Come on, I'll help Tim out.
Tim, get your shit together and send a picture of your real bike.
Okay, there we go. Okay, next.
Okay, this is
$100 will bring in the trolls, won't it?
I don't know. This
Siegfried
isn't troll. He's just.
Forster.
That's weird.
2022 FE 501S. Basically stock. True North rack. What's that?
It looks like that thing that I took off the bike that you sold me.
Dude. Continental
That's
tires.
That's what it is. It's that big giant rack that it hooks the
That
back.
was not just a big giant rack. That was a George customized rack.
It was a rack just like this. So Johnny, imagine you want to put panniers, like adventure style panniers, but soft ones on your
Enduro bike?
enduro bike, and so they and
You want a rack.
your subframe and your especially Fender, won't handle that load. So they build a rack for it. And there's guys that want a lightweight adventure bike, and they do this. So George actually took his buddies because the rack kind of mirrored the lines of the side panels, but for the bags that they were running, it would still allow the bags to flop in and kind of catch the chain and the tire. You know, things that if you're riding a little bit aggressive may happen.
Yeah.
So George doubled up. He rigged the hell out of this thing.
Oh yeah.
So if anybody wants one, I have one
I'm
for
trying to
sale.
figure out what this is.
Cheap.
Like, I see this is a mirror, right? But what's this one?
Let me check.
I can't even see it with my glasses.
So I haven't finished.
That looks like a double take mirror. Do you say double take mirror? Does he list that?
Yes, and the last one.
That's good.
But a taco, tail, tidy, and front LED turn signals.
Yeah, I see
So
those.
yeah, those are all good.
Yeah, that's the. I don't know what that might be. The you know what? Maybe he had his phone mounted on that mount, Johnny. He might have his phone there, and he had to take it off to take a picture of his bike.
Or GPS or something.
Yeah, it looks like something.
Okay, I think that's a good. That's up there. I think that's a ruse.
I was surprised he rode that far off the road with those tires.
What are the tires?
The whole
stock-
thing,
the
the whole
stock
thing
ones?
scares me.
It's endoing.
Well, it's not red.
Johnny Campbell's going with end. You're just gonna let him fall back on it's not red.
Yeah.
Really, that's a good thing around here. We speak for you. It's not red. He could have got a red
Scares you?
one.
You don't like it?
There's all these
Okay.
things sticking up right where you're riding. There's like this one thing.
Well, you
here,
got to keep track of
thing.
people around you. You don't care. You're
The
out in
photo,
front.
the photo isn't that good. Really, can't really see about his bike, and he's angled it such that if he had a disc guard on there, I couldn't see it.
Yep.
So there, he might be sliding that in there. So yeah, it's going down here in the endo zone.
Last one, Salim Slob Javed.
Where's the picture?
It's probably real.
Give us the picture.
No, I gotta look at it. Yeah.
No, yeah, it you looking at is not going to help us.
So it's a 2021
What
KTM
the-
500 EXCF.
That thing looks pretty mean. Things like-
FMF slip-on, ECU remapped
Wow.
and tuned by Rex Fuel Torque. Do we know them?
no.
Okay. Swing arm covers, good. So covers his swing arm, more weight.
Dude, he's got like Air Jordan graphics or something.
He literally does, yeah, on the front
It's
fender.
like on the front fender. That's gnarly. I want to know what's he done with his headlight? Is that blacked out?
Well, we're not there.
Murdered? Okay, get there. Come on,
Yeah, it is.
George.
A
list
Turby
it.
engine and clutch covers. Force bash plate. Rival Inc. custom graphics. Black Achirby plastics.
Okay, wait. Rival Inc.
Rival Inc. seat covers. Google them. What are they?
Yeah. No,
I
I
know about that.
I
You
think
know
I've heard
about
about
them?
I don't know, but this thing it looks mean. Johnny, the first thing what did you say? Looks mean.
looks mean.
It looks mean. It does look mean.
Like, I'm scared. If that thing rolled up next to me, I'd
Jet handguards. Blacked out headlight. Blacked out fuel tank. How do you black out your fuel tank?
They blacked it out.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Black fork wrap. This just blows it. This handles it. Next one. Steg pegs.
Oh,
No,
God.
no.
see 'em
Hey,
too.
look.
You can see him too.
Look, I no. Here's the funny thing is, I am probably the biggest like anti-steg peg guy because they touch me in a place I don't like to be touched. You know.
They steg them.
Yeah, but
Because you're older and everything's a
look
little
that
lower now.
that doesn't that they may work for him. That's not a bad thing. I don't have any problem with the steg peg. I don't even have a problem with your front disc guard. Okay, but I still
You ready
if-
for the next one?
No, well, it's probably going to be front disc guard. But if you have a front disc guard, here's. I want you to send me a picture of all the scratches on it. That's all I want to see is picture of your scratched up disc guard. And if your disc guard is scratched up and the rest of your bike is pretty, I understand. If your bike looks like you drug it down the side of a mountain and your disc guard was part of the protective package that kept that bike intact,
with chunks out of it. and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. Then it's understandable.
But the discard, so that's hitting things that maybe you would have cleared if the discard wasn't there, right? Because
You got me confused.
No, if you're going down, you got a discard, and you would have cleared it with just your disc,
Right.
and the discard sticks out another, and you hit it. That's no bueno, is it?
You can never tell.
But anyway, so you ready for the next? Because we got 3 more bullet points.
Okay.
No, 2. So I said steg pegs, 40 millimeter bar risers.
Oh boy.
He may be a non-lurch. He may be a guy that's tall with really like
Alligator
like
arms,
Tyrannosaurus Rex, like
right?
like the
Yeah,
Tacosaurus.
T-Rex. Let's call him T-Rex.
Actually, the Tacosaurus Rex lost his hand here.
And then the last is a tidy tail,
Tidy tails are good.
which I think's a cleanup tail.
We gotta
light
pick a
turn
winner.
Signal thing.
We got to pick a winner out of this group. What is this? I like the graphics on this. I really do. It's the bike's just.
He's
looks
making
neat.
it roost.
He's
It's a
making
clean
it
looking
roost.
bike.
I'm scared of it. That thing pulled up next to me. I'd get out of there.
Just turn and go away.
It's like going to the Atomic Inn on a Monday night.
Let's see. I'm having
So
a
who
hard.
wins on? Oh,
I'm
like,
having
you
a hard
keep us
time
separate.
remembering the bikes in general.
So we had the Checkers, we had the YZ that was racing, we have the Mean Bike, the Husqvarna, and the 250 EXC.
For me, it's between the last one and the YZ that was racing. The YZ with the light bar on it, because Trevor could learn something from this.
Yeah.
Where are we at, Johnny?
I think
There's no Hondas in there, so at least we know there's no bias in this decision.
I'm just gonna say that I like the Yamaha guy, the first guy,
Yep.
15,
Okay.
because the bike was mostly stock. He didn't jack it up with all this junk, and he rides at night.
I guarantee you there's something he could find at Taco Moto. But the good thing is, George, no matter what you say, you've been outvoted.
Well, I think it's the Honda 3-wheeler. The big
That's from a couple months ago.
couple of years.
Okay.
I think it's the YZ as well.
Yeah, so what's
Guy
the
can
name?
ride at
John Scholmir?
John. Oh, you
Schulman.
can't even say his name? That sounds like me. So, okay.
Scholmeyer?
John, thanks for sending that in. Just to prove that we don't just pick
KTMs and
KTMs all the
Kawasakis.
time.
Yeah. No, it was cool. Good bike.
He should check out the 2022 CRF 250 RX.
Hey, so I hate to say
a
this, but
bomb.
like this just in. Chris Parker trolled us, and he said he just wanted to see if he could get a Baja legend to say his name on the air.
I don't. I said more than that. I said Chris Parker. I even said his old company name.
I know,
CPR.
that's good. His old company, yeah, this is Rottweiler now.
Yeah. He told me
Now
the
he
whole
says
story.
he said he's already had a Dakar guy to do it, so he's just trolling all of us. He's gonna have to watch out. I'm gonna take. You know what, Chris? You thought that was tricky? Wait till I bring my cat down to your shop and your squirrel's done.
Oh, boy.
Selma will make a bad day. Are we ready for the next thing?
Oh, we're ready for the
next thing?
for your story here.
So everybody wonders why that the Husaberg is up at the end and how I have some crazy affection for my Husaberg, but it's not just like crazy affection. It's like proven. There's certain things that you just have to like prove. Every once in a while you just have to say, yeah, I've got this. So there's a little video that just surfaced on the internet. It's out there. There was this time when a Husaberg 570, and I happened to be riding it, lined up at the bottom of Oldsmobile Hill. It's a famous drag racing hill out at Glamis that everybody goes to prove the worthy.
It's a proving ground.
Yeah, it's a proving ground. You're going to show this thing. It's take no prisoners. You're starting at the bottom, racing to the top, and the thing that gets to the top the fastest is the best thing.
Can you put that up here, Matt?
We're going to put it's
I
going
wanna
to
see it here.
it's going to go up there. So evidently there was this time when my Husaberg, I was there on my Husaberg, and there was some other guy on a factory Honda rally bike, and there
Who
was
would that be?
there's another guy on a factory Yamaha rally bike, and there was some other guy named Johnny Campbell who's sitting right next to me. He was there.
Some other anonymous.
And there was some other guy named Kendall Norman. That donkey was just showed up out there. And we just looked at each other, and we didn't even have to talk. We just, like, shook our heads. We do this thing. You shake your heads because we knew it was a race. We knew we had a race. And then somebody threw a tire or a shoe or a rock. They threw it, and when it hit the ground, we went. And this is the video of what happened. And we gonna get to hear it too, because you can hear.
Yep.
You
And they can hear us talking over it too.
Yeah. So here's what happened on that fateful day. And by the way, Husaberg 570 is on the far side of the screen. You'll know because it's the one that darts out in front.
Here we go. Ricky Brayback. Who's next? Andrew Short. There's Johnny Campbell in the right. Here we go.
And the Husaberg on your screen.
Johnny Campbell in front. Who's that up front?
It'd be me on a
would
Husaberg.
be Jimmy Lewis.
I'm looking over to the side, and right now I decided since I'd won, I just started to pull a wheelie.
Who's that in the far left? Is that Kendall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Let's go back to the start. Did he take off and get a?
No, I didn't get a jump.
Let's see. Let's watch the start. Is that Nard
It was
throwing that?
No, that was Rick Sr.
Rick Senior threw
I
it.
saw Ricky.
So, I find it highly suspicious that the video only shows the racers on the right side, like the
At the
three
start?
on the right. It doesn't show the
Well,
two on the left.
so here's what's
So
funny.
who started?
Here's what's funny about this. So that was the second time that happened. But the first time, it was a much clearer victory. So much so that I, like, when I got halfway up the hill, I took my hand off the handlebars and, like, put the thumbs up just to rub it in. And I hardly even had to try because the bike did all the work. That's a Husaberg 570 for you. So just so you know.
I'm just curious. Was it bike or rider?
Oh, that's a hard question to answer.
But no. But Jimmy, what about this other drag race I've heard about recently?
Oh, that's like.
So the one where the Berg lost.
Well, so that Husaberg is a different Husaberg. There are two of them. There's two of them out there.
Okay, but you only say the
That I-
Husaberg 570, not. That kind of includes any 570, right?
Well, it's more so than not. So that particular Berg does not have like 700 hours on it. And this drag race you heard about, I was on the other bike, not on the Husaberg. I let somebody else ride it.
Right.
And they were scared to turn the throttle all the way. That's why the bike that I was on, which was a factory KTM rally bike, or not a factory bike. What do you call it? A production factory bike? Customer factory rally bike?
Yeah,
Rental is a rental bike that was purchased. Rally replica. So, and so we were on the pavement when we did the roll on, and I actually had to drop a gear on the, like, Husaberg just rolled on in top gear, and the rally bike took off so slow I had to drop a gear, and then that's when I let it rev out, like we were talking about when we were just hammering the rev limiter. Like, I had to hammer the rev limiter.
4,300 RPM.
It was like 14, something like that. So anyway, so just to back up any concerns, I'm glad everybody got to see that. There's just some little bit of evidence.
I just want to thank everybody that's been here the whole time for letting 2 hours of their life go by that they can never recover.
Worth it.
Right here.
But if cycle and motorcycle product related question, you can ask us and we'll give you an honest answer as long as it doesn't have anything to do with Husabergs, because then it's all just out the window.
BS. Oh,
Yeah,
that is a nice bike though. It does. I like riding that bike. It's good.
it has some really good characteristics, kind of like an XR400, right,
You
Johnny?
took all the muffler packing out of it to make it sound like a rally bike.
So
Sounds good.
are we past our time limit?
Yeah. Getting up there.
We're getting up there. I don't know how many
Like,
more.
I'm the
questions
one
we
that's
have left.
tired, and Matt's over there. Just
So anyway,
getting groggy.
you guys, these guys don't want to promote themselves, but there's Jimmy Lewis off-road classes and stuff. Johnny Campbell, go on a Johnny Campbell tour. What was a quote today that the guy said? I've got it on here. They're neat deals. So you can come ride with Johnny and go on a tour with Johnny and Jim and whoever. This guy got the A tour because Ricky was out here, Jimmy was out here. You guys were all riding together. What did he say?
One of the highlights of my life.
Yeah, he said, no, it was.
That's
more
what
than
he
that.
said.
It was stronger than that.
Well, that's all you
It
texted
was-
me.
Yeah, he did. He said it was just the highlight of his life to ride.
Dude,
with
he was
Johnny
riding.
and do
He was
stuff.
riding a full-on JCR prep bike. JCR Speed
was.
Shop, right?
He was.
Oh, that's where he.
JCRSpeedshop.com. It was a fully prepped bike by no other than Joe Lloyd himself, and finely tuned, and does a really nice job. Meticulous.
So they're starting
Ridiculous
some
guy.
tours and stuff around, and it's cool. And yeah, where else are you gonna do that? JimmyLewisOffroad.com changed my world.
Oh,
in
changed your
riding.
world?
It did.
Changed his life.
It did. No, I can ride safer, longer. Better.
Oh, good. Questions are popping up. Look at this.
But
Have you tested the Precision Racing Parabolic damper? My answer is no. I've ridden a couple bikes that had it, but I haven't tested it. If so, comparison between the Scots and Precision dampers.
I never rode one. Only Scott's.
Yeah, so I didn't test it. I rode with it, and it felt like a steering damper. There's a lot of steering dampers out there, and it feels like some steering dampers can feel like you over tightened your headset, and other ones you don't know they're on there. With the Scots, you don't know it's on there until you need it, and when it's set up properly. You can set up a Scots horribly and make it feel like a steering damper, or you over tighten your headset. And the Precision Parabolic ones that I rode on the bikes, generally I asked the riders that had them on their bikes, can I turn this down? And a lot of times these are clients that come to our class and stuff. When they buy a steering damper, they want it to feel like they bought a steering damper, so they have them up a little bit too tall. And my experience is when a steering damper is doing steering damper things too much, your bike tends to be hard to balance because it's always trying to dampen the out of balance rider. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Makes sense. So I don't have enough experience with a properly set up one, and I would like to try it to find out so I can answer this question better. But I definitely know that the Scots is really, really good. It's the standard of steering dampers as far as I'm concerned.
Johnny's a Scots damper. Is that like a standard? You put it on whatever bike.
Every bike you won Baja 1000 on, right?
Yeah.
That's-
I've been using Scott's dampeners since 1991 or something, and solely. And we did have a bout with the Showa dampeners on the Hondas. They were the stock
Oh,
ones.
the stock
But
ones
I actually used, we had Works ones at one point.
that were completely the opposite of the stock ones. Would you say that?
Yeah.
They worked.
And we were trying them in Baja and stuff. We even had like bearings that had higher friction and different things like that, because those dampeners, now not to get off subject, but you could turn 15 degrees and it doesn't do anything until that shaft starts pulling out, then it starts dampening. So
Right.
So that first 30 degrees, like you had nothing.
Right. They were designed. That damper was designed more to hold the bike down in turns
Yes.
in like a supercross bull turn.
Yep.
That where the Scots damper is designed to stop the wheel from coming off center.
Yeah. In a violent hit.
Yeah, and the Honda one, it's funny because one of the best things I ever did to some Yamahas was put the Honda damper on the Yamaha because it would hold it down in turns.
A lot of teams are still using that.
Yeah.
Different manufacturers.
Yeah, it's different. It's a different thing. Off-road dampening is different than what you would want on motocross or supercross. But I can still take my YZ125. My motocross bike has a Scots damper on it, and it's set up a lot different than my off-road Scots damper because I wanted to do kind of a little bit what the Honda damper does, which is for sure a different thing. So, yeah, I haven't tested that Precision one, but if I could, I would tell you more about it, but that's what it is. Facebook, feelthetorque.com, Australia. Rex Fuel Torque is out of Australia, and he is mapping late model KTM ECUs. Tony, is he doing the stock ones? That'd be interesting to find out. If he's remapping stock KTM ECUs, because when the guy that figures out how to do that is probably going to get some business. So, and I'd like to know about it. So, Matt,
I want to figure out what else you guys are marketing.
us.
Yeah, you guys.
Sign up for the Jimmy Lewis Off-Road Training Beginner Schools and get a 10% discount code of Tech Talk Taco 22. Tech Talk 22.
No caps, one word. Yep.
No
Talk
caps,
22.
one word.
Jimmy
Email us if you need to, and just go to www.jimmylewisoffroad.com. There's the online courses up on the side, and you can see that. I don't know. Anything else?
What else are you into, Johnny?
You going to go to the Adelanto Grand Prix?
I hadn't planned on
You
it.
should go back and try to be the king.
No,
I'll spray paint
no
my
rotator cuffs.
I'll spray paint my YZ125 red, and you can race it.
No,
You can go.
no,
Might sponsor you.
no, thanks.
You got to put a big sticker of mine on your chest and back.
Thanks to Takamoto for sponsoring our Roosterendo segment as usual, which is pretty awesome. Let's see. Oh, we have a. I'm not going to answer that question. DDC Sprockets, one of our first sponsors, they're always helping us out. Trail Tech, get your Voyager GPS. They have the new aluminum mounts, and of course, if your bike's overheating, they have fans for the radiators. Climb makes super awesome gear.
Did you get Climb gear for the team?
Well, since everything's on back order, and I was going to bring this up, lots of stuff is on back order because of supply and demand. If you really want something, call up Climb customer service, and they will put it on back order, and you will get it when it comes in. They're really sensitive to this. They want to help you out. So that's the thing. Luckily, since my Climb gear is so durable and bulletproof, I haven't needed any. But yeah, the team, you included, that order went in, and when it comes in, it's going to show up here. So we should be all good. Scott Sports. I was wearing my transition goggles today, and with those clouds coming in, it was a big help. I like it when the white dirt gets faded out a little bit. And that should be about it.
I'm just gonna plug my in-person beginner school. If you know someone who wants to get into dirt bikes but they don't know how.
Oh, private lessons.
Yeah, private beginner lessons with me. Yeah, just email me at matt@jimmylewisoffroad.com and we can figure something
Matt's
out.
the only one making money out of any of this, isn't he?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, you know what you guys are all paying to watch this and listen to it, right? That
Who
should
is?
Yeah, exactly. So that's how it all works out. Hey, thanks again for joining in on the show. Thanks for all our regular listeners and stuff like that. Do not try to hand Johnny the voice-o-matron thing. You.
And a shout out to my niece Kayla. It's her birthday today.
No, hey, wait, Harold, let's do a happier voice with that. Try it again.
Happier voice? Hey, Kayla, happy birthday.
That was strangely more demonic.
It was like that clown hotel in Tonopah we were talking about right there.
Clown Motel.
No, that was like the atomic and the clown, like in one motel.
Without the domestic going on outside
Oh,
your room.
Oh God.
Okay, but we'll see you. Hopefully, if I make it back to this show, we don't get canceled. We'll be here next Tuesday, every Tuesday. If you're trying to watch this thing live, if you're listening to it on whatever thing, hey, share it with your buddies, especially when they have stupid motorcycle questions. Have them ask me and not you. And with that, we will see you out on the trail. Cheers.